I don't have trust issues. I have a brain that learns patterns. And right now you showing me patterns. Now my antenna's up and you don't like it. I don't like it either. I was green as a golf course behind you. And you showed me red flags. So take it how you want. I'm not trying to avoid being hurt. I'm trying to avoid looking stupid.
Boom! What's good? What's good? Welcome back to another episode of Divine Time. You didn't click this by accident. This is Divine Time with your boy, Danli Divine, where timing is divine, conversations are raw, and growth is inevitable. If you're ready to elevate your mind, your heart, and your perspective, you're exactly where you're meant to be. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs this message. So rolling into today's topic with the question: how many times does someone have to show you who they are before you believe them? In today's episode of Divine Time, we're talking about recognizing patterns, not excuses, not potential, but repeated behavior, and why choosing your peace isn't selfish, it's necessary. This isn't about judging people, it's about protecting your energy, honoring your growth, and learning when it's time to step back. Awareness is the first step. Let's get into it. So, as I said, topic of this today is going to be recognizing the pattern and choose your peace. And as I started off, I asked a question. That question is, how many times does someone have to show you who they are before you believe them? I want to hear from the audience. And if you're not in right now, just go ahead and leave your comments down below, all right? So with it, I'm going to be doing these lives on TikTok, everywhere. So that way we always can go ahead and have some individuals speak up and talk as well. So for my TikTok audience, what's happening? But I don't want to hold you up too much. I want to get into this, all right? And with getting into it, I got to ask some hard questions. I want to bring some awareness to this. So the first thing I want to talk about is, what does recognizing the pattern really mean? All right? Because recognizing the pattern means becoming aware of repeated behaviors over time, not isolated incidents or one-time mistakes. It's the ability to observe what someone consistently does, especially when words, apologies, or promises don't align with their actions, and accepting that inconsistency is truth. Recognizing the pattern requires emotional honesty. It means looking at behaviors without excuses, hope, or emotional attachment clouding your judgment. Patterns reveal a person's priorities, values, and willingness or refusal to grow. In simple terms, if the behavior keeps repeating, that's the pattern. And once you see it, you're responsible for how you respond, not for changing them, but for protecting your peace. All right? The next one that I want to talk about is, why do we ignore patterns? Okay? There's a lot of individuals that sit here and will ignore patterns, things that are happening to them. They'll overlook it. Why do people ignore patterns? People ignore patterns because seeing them clearly often requires facing uncomfortable truths. Okay. About others and about ourselves. Here are the most common reasons: hope over reality. People hold on to the potential of who someone could be instead of accepting who they consistently are. Hope becomes a distraction from truth. Emotional attachment, love, history, familiarity, or shared experiences can blind judgment. The deeper the bond, the harder it is to admit the pattern is harmful. Fear of loss or loneliness. Many stay in unhealthy dynamics because the idea of being alone feels scarier than enduring what's familiar, even if it's draining. Now, with it, trauma bonds. Repeated cycles of hurt followed by apologies or affection create emotional confusion. The highs make people tolerate the lows. Over explaining and empathy. Some people understand why someone behaves the way they do and confuse understanding with obligation. Compassion turns into self neglect. Self doubt and gaslighting. When someone minimizes your feelings or denies their behavior, you begin to question your own perception instead of trusting it. Belief that love requires endurance. Many are taught that loyalty means staying no matter what, even when respect and peace are gone. At its core, ignoring patterns is often about avoiding pain now, even if it means accepting more pain later. Growth begins when awareness replaces excuses. and peace becomes more important than familiarity. Now, somebody said something. I don't know what they said. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? But no, it's interesting because a lot of individuals do not, they have issues with recognizing those patterns and why they often ignore the patterns. I just gave some examples of why people end up ignoring patterns. Now, the thing that comes when you ignore those patterns is you're going to end up losing things. So, what I want to talk about real quick is the cost of staying when nothing changes. Have y'all ever had those times where you're being hopeful that things are going to change, and next thing you know, you're on like your deathbed and nothing has changed at all? So, for those who have not gone through that, let me go ahead and give y'all a little list of things that happen. The cost of staying when nothing changes is often paid quietly over time, and it affects more than what people realize. When you remain in situations where the pattern never shifts, these are some things it can cost you: emotional exhaustion, constantly explaining yourself, forgiving without change, or managing someone else's behavior drains your emotional energy and leaves you feeling depleted. Loss of self trust. Each time you ignore what you clearly see, you teach yourself not to trust your own intuition. Over time, this weakens your confidence and inner voice. Increased anxiety and stress. Living in cycles of unpredictability creates tension. You're always waiting for the next disappointment, arguments, or letdown. Resentment and emotional numbness. Unmet expectations turn into resentment. Eventually, that resentment can harden into emotional detachment or indifference. Now, we all know about stunted growth. Staying where nothing changes, it'll keep you stuck. It will delay healing. It blocks your opportunities and prevents you from evolving into who you're meant to become. It can lower your self worth. From tolerating repeated disrespect or neglect slowly convinces you that this is what you deserve, even when it's not. Missed peace and alignment, perhaps the greatest cost is the peace you never experience because you're busy surviving instead of living. In truth, staying doesn't just cost you time, it costs you energy, clarity, joy, and alignment. It isn't found by waiting for people to change, it's by choosing yourself when they don't. Let me see what he's saying. Yeah. The fact that this person doesn't even have a name and is trying to say that someone posted about me. This is a perfect book for that. The let them theory. Not sure if you can see that. The let them theory. That's all I gotta say to that. Let them. I mean, I posted a video earlier today talking about that. Hey, Niall, what you say, girlie? Puddin says, "Love you, daddy." Aw, love you too, baby girl. But let me get back to it because there's a lot of things that can happen when nothing changes. When you start recognizing those patterns and nothing is changing, you're ultimately just ignoring the pattern. Now, with that, I want to end with some things that you can do, okay? We know what happens when you stay. We know why people ignore patterns. We also are now understanding what recognizing the pattern really means. So, what are some things you can do? You can distance yourself, but a lot of people may distance themselves and feel guilty about it. This is why choosing distance without guilt is important, okay? So, choosing distance without guilt starts with a mindset shift. It's understanding that protecting your peace is not an act of cruelty, it's an act of self respect. Here's how to do it with clarity and compassion. Accept that awareness changes responsibility. Once you recognize a pattern, you're no longer obligated to ignore it. Distance becomes a response to truth, not a punishment to the other person. Separate compassion from access. You can care about someone and still limit their access to you. Love does not require unlimited availability, tolerance, or sacrifice of your well being. Release the need to explain yourself. You don't owe a detailed explanation to anybody who repeatedly disregards your boundaries. Peace often comes from silence, not justification. Understand that guilt is often conditioning. Many people were taught that loyalty means enduring discomfort, that belief creates guilt. When you finally choose yourself, guilt doesn't mean you're wrong, it often means you're growing. Choose distance gradually if needed. Distance doesn't always mean cutting someone off completely. It can look like less communication, less emotional investment, clear boundaries, quietly stepping back. Honor your feelings without acting on them. It's normal to feel sadness, guilt, or grief. Feel the emotions without letting them override your decision to protect your peace. Reframe distance as alignment. You're not abandoning them, you're aligning with who you're becoming. Some people are a part of a chapter, not the whole story. Choosing distance without guilt means choosing honesty over obligation and peace over familiarity. When you stop betraying yourself to keep others comfortable, guilt fades and clarity, it takes its place. When's the last time you have had clarity? It's okay. I'll wait. When's the last time that you were able to say no and not feel bad about saying no? It's okay. I'll wait. Let me ask you a couple questions real quick before I end up closing this out because I want to hear y'all response to it, all right? What patterns keep repeating in your life? I want to know what patterns keep repeating in your life. When you come around somebody, how do you feel after interacting with this person? Are you energized or are you drained? Ask yourself this. Are you staying for growth or out of fear? And what would choosing peace look like for you right now? Think about that. But yo, this right here was another episode of Divine Time. We went over a few key topics today. We spoke about what choosing peace really means. We spoke about why people ignore patterns. We talked briefly about the cost of staying when nothing changes. And then we're closing out with choosing distance without guilt. I'm going to leave these questions with you one more time. Ask yourself these questions, and I'll put them down in the comments too. What patterns keep repeating in my life? How do I feel after interacting with this person? Energized or drained? Am I staying for growth or out of fear? What would choosing peace look like for me right now? But hey, before you go, take a moment and sit with what was said today. Apply it. Live it. If this episode gave you clarity or perspective, support the show by liking, subscribing, and sharing. This is Divine Time with your boy, Danli Divine. And I'll see you next time, right when you need it most. Relax your mind. It's Divine Time. This one I need my daughter to come in. It's Divine Time. It's Divine Time. But yo, big up, much love and respect. Deuces.
So you want a second chance to be a part of my life? I respect it, but the answer is no. Because although I give some people second chances, I also recognize patterns. And I'm not the only person you hurt. I'm not the only person you disrespected. I'm not the only person you manipulated. And I know I'm not gonna be the last. So I'd be damned if I give you another opportunity to hurt me. and that's on God.
Hey, beautiful souls. If you love deep conversations about life, love, and spiritual growth, help us reach more like minded people. Like, comment, and share to push these powerful episodes through the algorithm. Let's build a community that thrives on wisdom and connection. Find us everywhere: YouTube at Danli_Divine, Facebook and Kick at Divine Time Podcast, and also follow the blog, divinetime.blog. If you're looking for your soul tribe, join our Telegram group, Warriors of Love. Together we rise. Divine Time is now.